Allergy Award and also awarded as one of Doyens of Healthcare 2018 organized by Times of India Group. He has also published an article on significance of allergy testing and allergen vaccination in allergic patients in the Journal of Raigad Medical Association. Dr. Zala has delivered many lectures at national level. We are indeed glad to have you here, sir. Please address our audience.
Yeah. Uh, Thank you very much, Richa. Very kind of you to have introduced me, and I'm really genuinely thankful to the principal, Madam Dr. Hemlata Bagla, uh, DPT Star Coordinator, Dr. Sagarika Damle, Madam, Dr. Sejal Rathorji, and all the other faculty members, teaching, non-teaching staff of the KC College. At the same time, all the audience from various faculties, various like branches and all. And before I begin my speech, what I would want is everybody. We should always, like yesterday we had Mother's Day, you know. So we must all be thankful that we are on this planet Earth because of our mothers. And we have to be indebted to our parents, our gurus, Almighty, all our teachers from our KG till end. I am also indebted to my guru, Dr. D.M. Tripathi, who, because of whom I am today here, who has been my allergy teacher. Thank you very much, sir. And all of you taken out a lot of time. Now, allergy, as we all know, is an English word. Probably I may not know how many of you know the vernacular word for like the translation of allergy, but we always say it as an allergy. Many of you must be Maharashtrian over here. जे सातम नाही ते त्याला आपण म्हणतो असात्मीयता. That's called as allergy actually. Now I would begin with certain questions. If any of you, the panelists, either the principal madam or the Dr. Sejal or Dr. Sagarika, Dr. Hemlata, or even Richa yourself, you have any questions or anything, we can just start with the question answer, and I can go ahead with the things. Like we have a lot of time actually. Okay, and so that it will be a little bit in the beginning will be interactive, and I'll be today talking about the allergy, its awareness, its management, and also I'll be also tackling the subject of psychological aspect of the allergic disorder. Fine. So any questions, if anybody has got, you can just, it should come either through the chat box to the organizers, and then it can come to me so that I can, like we can begin with the allergy. As everybody knows, we are allergic to so many things. And right now, everybody is allergic to corona, but corona is not allergic to us. So it's always, with us right now. And we are all worried about the pandemic. Whole world is today worried about the pandemic of corona. Of course, we won't go into detail of corona because everyone knows about the corona well right now. So any questions first, please? Richa. Let it be a little bit interactive in the beginning.
No, sir, I don't have any question because I have gone through it.
Yeah.
You very well know it.
Fine. Sejal, madam, any questions from your side?
Sir, it would be very helpful if you will tell us as to, what is the background or what happens exactly in an allergic reaction.
Right. See, basically allergy is, actually it damages our immune system whenever we are faced with some of the external factors, in simplified terminology, like it may be because of some food, because of some pollens, because of some molds like fungi, or because of some dust, say house dust, hay dust, paper dust, wheat flour dust, cotton dust, spider web dust. There are a number of 11 types of dust are there. And of course, there are house dust mites, which we may be allergic to. We can be allergic to basically on everything and anything on this planet Earth. Okay. Every allergy we can, basically have little control of. But idealistically, one should, I feel that one should not be allergic to their own spouses, since the spouse allergy cannot be treatable probably. Fine. So what I would do is I would now want to share my screen. Okay. Should I go ahead with the screen sharing and start my presentation, please?
Yes, sir. Please, please. Yes.
Yeah. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute, I'm just sharing it. Yeah. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir. It's visible. We can go to the slideshow mode.
Slideshow mode, right. Just a minute, I'm a little poor in this actually, but I will try to go somehow. Oh, it's okay?
Yes, sir.
Proper, fine. Thank you very much. Am I audible well, everybody? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, now this is just a brief whatever, like Richa introduced me, and I'm into this field since last more than 25 years. Now, this is the topic of today's allergies awareness and management. Now, this is my slide, which is one of my most liked sites. Possibility of allergy to anything on this planet Earth. Do not be allergic to your spouse. There's no treatment available for spouse allergy. Now, this is just a brief, as I told already, that any foreign substances, which may be dust mites, pollens, fungi, etc. Okay. Now, these are the clinical manifestations, whatever from top to bottom. Basically, we can get allergies to. Most important is the nose. Okay. Now, the nasal swelling of the nasal mucosa, allergic rhinitis we call. Then sinuses is allergic sinusitis. Then eyes, we have allergic conjunctivitis. We have airways. We have, like sneezing, bronchoconstriction, that's bronchial asthma, we say, and laryngeal edema, etc. Then ear, sometimes we get the pain behind the ear and all those things. And then skin, we have the urticaria, in fact, the hives and all, eczematous dermatitis, allergic. Then gastrointestinal allergic disorders we do have. Okay. Now, this is how do we select the allergens actually? It's the exposure to various environmental factors would be there. So dust, mites, etc. These are the environmental allergens which are, like most commonly found, like house dust mites, then animal danders, pollens, insects, most important, cockroaches. If one might wonder, the cockroaches are even commoner in so many places in the world, including I have had a few years back one of the patient. A patient came from Los Angeles, and I was surprised to know that a patient was severely allergic to cockroach, fungal spores, food allergens, etc. So allergies from any part of the world, like cockroach, we might think that it is only common in India. Not necessarily like that. It's most common in Delhi, and then so many other parts of the Western world also. Now, how to detect? This is the allergy skin testing is the prick test method. It's called as a modified prick test method, which is safe, precise, quick, and painless. Now, there are two methods by which we can do allergy testing actually to detect allergens. That is, one is in vivo, that is a skin prick test method. We'll come to that later when you see the pictures of that. And then other one is the in vitro, that's a laboratory method. Okay. Now the differences between the in vivo and in vitro. Now in vivo is actually simple. In vitro is complicated. In vivo is inexpensive, in vitro is expensive. Here there is no less discomfort. The in vitro, it's not applicable because in vitro is like it's collected, blood is collected and the testing is done. In vivo is very specific, and in vitro through blood it is less specific. In vivo means when we do it through the skin prick test, it correlates with the clinical history. We have to ask the patient complete history and then decide about what all allergens to be tested. Since at this moment in India, we have around 276 allergens, which includes prick test method, patch test method, and intradermal methods. Then in vitro does not correlate with the clinical history, because when you go to a pathologist just takes the blood and then just do the needful. Okay. So just like that. Then this is the technique. Modified prick test method is the most preferred method. It is simple, requires less quantity of allergens, no systemic or anaphylactic reaction, can be easily performed in children, and results are immediately available. Now this is the picture showing you the, we have to, first clean the forearm and arm with the isopropyl alcohol, then mark the things, and then put the antigenic extract, okay, and then see the result in the form of wheal and erythema. That means, what do you mean by wheal and erythema? Is there's something kind of a swelling which is surrounded by the redness. That's called as in simplified terminology, it is called as a wheal and erythema. Now this is the diagrammatic representation of the skin prick test, where the drop of an allergen put into the epidermis with a slight lifting motion. You have to just lift it and leave it for a certain time. You have to see the result after 30, 40 and 50 minutes usually. Why allergy testing is required? It is required to identify offending allergens, classify and differentiate between atopic and non-atopic patients. Now, age. Any age group above the age of 3 years, we can do the testing for allergy patients. Anybody above the age of 3 years. Selection of allergens. Now, how do we select actually? Now, this selection is very important, as we have to, basically go into the depth of the patient's history, that where the patient is coming from, what is working, what symptoms he has got since how long, whether the symptoms has diurnal variation. What do you mean by diurnal variation? Diurnal variation means whether the symptoms increases after the evening and next day, early morning, it is much more. Then what type of food he consumes, what type of cleanliness at his house, how often or how frequently they change the bed linens, how frequently they change they clean the curtains and etc. There's a in-depth history, and based on that we have to select the things, and the presence of pollens differs from area to area. So we have to know as geographically we should know about the presence of pollen in different area. So once we come to know that a patient is coming from a particular place, then that we should, an allergist or an allergy specialist should be having the good amount of knowledge of the presence of pollen in that particular area. Now, this is how do we treat it actually? Allergens which cannot be avoided may be considered for allergen vaccination. Now, allergen-specific immunotherapy is the only treatment which modifies the ailment and alters the immunity. This is a very important thing. Now, I'll come to that in detail. Indications, of course, the indications are the same as what I showed in my second or third slide. That was allergic rhinitis, bronchial asthma, then allergic urticaria, allergic conjunctivitis, etc. Now, age of the patient, any age above the age of 7 we can give, but in case if it is required, we can even start from the age of 5 years onwards. This is according to WHO, Working Committee 1989 Geneva Summit. Now, efficacy of allergen vaccination is, again, this is one of the statement which is very important. The expert committee of International Union of Immunological Society in collaboration with WHO confirms the effectiveness of for allergic rhinitis, conjunctivitis, bronchial asthma, and grass pollen extract. Now, this is a
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Could you just speak loudly?
sure.
Thank you.
I'll increase my volume. Yes, I need to be a little closer then in that case. Okay. Now, this is all according to WHO. Yeah. Safety. Now, how safe it is? It's quite safe actually. There are two types of vaccination today we have. One is sublingual immunotherapy and one is subcutaneous immunotherapy. Okay, and both are safe. Now, sublingual means it is to be taken, consumed below the tongue, and subcutaneous means it is an injectable which is given, injections are given subcutaneously. Okay, now how much it should last? What is the duration of vaccination? There is absolutely no firm rule as to how much it lasts, but actually it has to be lasting from 1 to 5 years. But actually WHO recommends the continuation of maintenance dose. What do you mean by maintenance dose? Maintenance dose means once we are, like, see, in the beginning when we were children, we used to take the vaccines, which was beginning vaccine. Then we used to take the booster vaccination later on. Okay, polio, triple, this, that, and all, etc. So here also it's a maintenance dose. What is mean by maintenance means it like lifetime immunity. We need to achieve lifetime immunity against the allergens to which we are found allergic to when we were detected by doing in vivo test, in like maybe prick test, maybe patch test, etc. And then further to that, so we need not have it again, the symptomatology again. Symptoms should not occur for the lifetime. That's what is to be achieved idealistically. Wherever there is a success, I feel that there is failure always has to be there. So what is the reasons for failure of vaccination? Of course there are reasons. One is very important, is the particularly in India, when a physician or any particular doctor prescribes, say, for example, 5 to 7 or 10 days antibiotics. So patients may not, many of the patients just after feeling 3 to 5 days, taking it 3 to 5 days and feeling better, they may stop it themselves. This is called as the poor compliance. The patient doesn't comply with it. And where there is here, it is a very important is compliance. Why? Because we need to explain to the patient that your treatment is going to be lasting for a longer duration of time. This is very essential. Now, there may be some adverse reaction because the dosage may not be that compatible with the patient, acceptance may not be there. Then that dosage has to be adjusted by the physician or an allergy specialist treating that particular patient. And again, then change in environmental condition. For example, there is a transferable job of a person. One person now started allergen vaccination in Bombay, went after 3 months to Bangalore. So the presence of pollen in Bangalore is exposed to different pollens and different climatic conditions over there. Environmental things are changed. Maybe Delhi, again the change. So that can again give rise to failure of vaccination. Now, this is my slide, which is helping you in a brand new way of life, allergy free, so that our children can enjoy the same environment and beauty that we have for generations. Why do I have to put this kind of a slide? It's a very important and essential, and particularly of so much importance is reason being the antigenicity or the allergenicity. If you go to the past, like last 25 years back, and my practice last 7 to 8 years, the graph of my 7 to 8 years, the allergenicity has increased tremendously n-fold. So we need to prevent this by educating people how and what way to do, so that our children can enjoy the same environment and beauty that we have for generations. This is a very essential slide. Thank you very much. And now we will just go through the certain pictures. This is a route of entry of allergens. One is a skin contact, that's like poisonous plants, then cardiovascular, respiratory, animal scratches, pollen, latex, like coming in contact with latex. Some people have got latex gloves allergy. Now this is an injection, like any medicinal allergy people can have. Bee sting, then ingestion means whatever we consume, nuts, shellfish, eggs, any protein, cereals, etc., etc. Then inhalation, pollens, molds, mold, and then animal dander, like etc. And this is the urticaria. Okay, this is the allergic urticaria. Certain pictures will come to just showing you certain pictures. This is allergic urticaria. These are various types of urticarias. Now this is angioedema, and this is a painless, well-demarcated, non-pruritic, non-pitting, deep subcutaneous swelling, often involving periorbital, circumoral, and facial regions. Lesions typical of angioedema appear on lips, palms, soles, and genitalia. This is the skin burn done after the aftershave lotion. This is immersion in bleach. This is lime burn. This is caustic burns from wet cement. This is allergic contact dermatitis. We come to in contact with certain things. Like for example, we come in contact with, this is a bindi dermatitis or kumkum or bindi, and very common in India. Okay, still nowadays, of course, newer generations don't wear bindi or kumkum, but olden times people used to have that. And still in India, majority of the crowd does apply kumkum. Now this is nickel allergic contact dermatitis, spectacle frame. This is button, nickel again, here again nickel, earrings. This is again metal fastener. These are again metal fastener. Now this is due to hair dye. There was PPDA, that's called as paraphenylene diamine. This is the substance which is present in any hair dyes, may it be herbal or anything. If you read into the ingredient of the dye, it will have PPDA. Okay, that's paraphenylene diamine. That gives allergy. Then this is a fragrance allergy. This is again fragrance. This is a purse. Now this is aerosol deodorant. This is leather gloves. Now this is the this thing, eczema, hand eczema. This is gloves again. This is band-aid. This is leather footwear. This again shoe dermatitis. This is leather footwear. This is the toxicodendron. This is one of the plant which gives allergy. This is ivy. This is tricky primula obconica. Now this is Parthenium, which we must have seen. This is the Congress grass, Parthenium hysterophorus. This is a Parthenium allergic contact dermatitis, very severe. It occurs. This is waistband clothing dermatitis. This is elastic. This is a allergic contact, previously sensitive to ethylene diamine, then took IV aminophylline. One of the patient admitted in the hospital. I just took the picture. This is topical neomycin. Neomycin is an antibiotic, age old, which was just applied, and then this kind of a lesion. This is a suture dermatitis. When we take the suture, this is surgical suture dermatitis. This is a chloroxylenol from washing with Dettol. This is cement dermatitis. Now, what are the difference between irritant and allergic contact dermatitis? We won't go into detail of this, and this is the management. Of course, this is wet compress and then calamine lotion, steroid ointment, cream, zinc oxide, etc. This is all for now. Okay. I'll need to stop sharing. Richa, can you guide me how to stop sharing? Is it okay? Fine. Now, any questions for so far? I'll go to the other part of my talk a little later after certain questions are replied. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from anybody? They can write in the chat box and the organizers can. Yeah, please,
Sir, there is one question.
please.
What can cause hives? By Harshita Samil.
Hives. See, anything like basically hives is an allergic urticaria. Okay. Now, this can be caused if it is based on the symptoms when it occurs. Many of the hives occurs after evening, and it is continuous till early morning or something like that. And when the sun rises, the severity of the hives reduces. Okay, that these kind of hives are caused by mainly house dust mites. There are three types of house dust mites: Mite farini, Mite terronicinus, and Blomia. Now, either of these three mites can be allergic to. Another thing is the hives can also be caused by certain foods. Okay, maybe if the patient's body has got the antibody against certain foods, so it's then urticaria can occur because of that also. So there are n number of reasons for one getting hives. Also, nowadays, recently, I have got certain patients coming to me after consuming some, say, antidepressant. One of the patient had come to me about in this lockdown only. He just consulted me through video consultation. Teleconsultation is going on nowadays. So he consulted me and he had consumed antidepressant drug from a psychiatrist, and that was giving him the allergic urticaria. So now that needs to be like confirmed. We need to confirm the diagnosis. To confirm the diagnosis of the hives, it actually takes 3 days for testing. The first day it takes around 2 hours, and the third day it takes around 1 hour. Once we come to some proper conclusion after, say, first is, as I told you in my total talk, like beginning is the history, followed by investigations, and then firm conclusion, then we can like go ahead with the proper management. Otherwise, usually on usual course, people just give anti-allergic medication. That's for the time being. It's going to be suppressing, it's going to be giving you the relief. That's a symptomatic relief.
So the
Fine.
next question
Yeah.
is sunburn a form of allergy? Could you please elaborate on the mechanism of sunburns?
Yes. Now, sunburn is not allergic. It is only to, there are certain things which are, see, it's our body. When we are exposed to, there's a skin secretes certain, there is something called as melanin, something called as, the various hormones are secreted within the body. We have that up and down. Now, sunburn is not actually allergic, but whoever has got sunburn, okay, that's why it is advised for them to use SPF, that is the protection of the sunburn creams which are available, or the lotions which are available. The most important aspect is don't apply those lotions and go out immediately after applying. It has to be applied within the house, stay within the house for 30 minutes, and then you go out of to the sunlight. You want to get exposed to sun. So that is totally different than allergies. Absolutely fine. Yeah.
The next question is, as turmeric has antimicrobial activity, then how it can cause allergy?
Turmeric. See, one particular thing. For example, turmeric has got antimicrobial. Microbial is a different thing. Allergy is a different thing. Allergy is antigen antibody reaction. Now, for example, I will tell you one thing, that we in our medical science, we give age old medication that's called as CPM. CPM is called as chlorpheniramine maleate, CPM. You will be surprised that even CPM, which is an anti-allergic H1 receptor antagonist drug, which also can give rise to allergy. Okay. So whenever a person's body has got antibodies against turmeric, that is called as allergy. So actually speaking, what happens is, see, antimicrobial things is a different totally function of turmeric. Okay. To have antigenicity or allergenicity is a different thing. It's like allergy is like, if I explain to everyone, like allergy is like an husband and wife relationship, So the wife goes to her parents' place, means like Maheri or Maike. अगर औरत मायके चली गई तो हस्बैंड किसके साथ फाइट करेगा. So what actually we try to do by once we detect, we try to do what? We try to lock antigen and antibody. We just lock husband and wife in one room without giving them any appliances, any gadgets, any electronic item, no mobile phones, no TV, no laptop, nothing. Only husband and wife in one room. So how can they fight? It's very impossible for them to fight, because now they cannot go out. Nobody can come in. They can't see anything. They are inside. So there is a mechanism. This is in a simplified terminology I'm trying to explain. So we can just locking system, it is called as antigen antibody locking. So no free antibodies are present within the body, so that even if the allergen in the form of antigens attacks the body, the patient will not get any symptoms with what he or she used to get earlier. Okay.
So the next question is, people can suffer milk and lactose intolerance. Which antibodies are involved in such allergic reactions?
Now, again, here it is intolerance, something which we see. Milk allergy is a different thing, and milk intolerance is a different thing. Totally different. Okay. Just try to, nowadays everybody has got Google, so it's better to do Google what is intolerance and what is allergy. So allergy, milk intolerance is a different thing, wherein we have to give them certain things and wherein the patients cannot consume milk because it is an intolerant thing. But allergy can be, once we detect that the patient is having milk allergy, we can vaccinate that patient by giving individually prepared allergen vaccine against milk. So after certain duration, say after 3 years, patient can then consume milk. Okay, so intolerance is totally different than allergy.
Will you take one more question, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Recently, there was a debate going on that vaccines of any kind are not good for our body on the long run. Does this hold any importance, especially for allergy vaccination?
Sorry. Can you please repeat the question, please?
Recently, there was a debate going on that vaccines of any kind are not good for our body on the long run. Does this hold any importance, especially for allergy vaccination?
See, in any case, the vaccines are, what do you mean by vaccine is to prevent? The first thing is vaccination is a prevention. Okay. Now, right now, people are searching vaccine, trying to, develop vaccine for coronavirus. Why are they developing vaccine against coronavirus? Is because when we get the vaccines, we will not suffer from that. Thinking that it is not, we will not suffer from that. Now, vaccines are actually just to prevent. Okay. So whenever, can you just repeat it? What was the thing? Actually, I'm sorry, I just got my things.
There was a debate going on that vaccines of any kind.
Okay, fine. It need not be taken for a longer time, because vaccine, there is a dosage schedule. Okay. Any vaccines, for example, in the beginning when we were a child, we took, say, for example, when I was a kid, I took, say, 1 monthly 3 polio vaccine, then followed by at the age of 1.5 years, and followed by at the age of 5 years or so. That was my booster vaccine. Then I did not take any polio vaccination at all. So vaccination, there's a dosage schedule for every vaccine. For example, say hepatitis B vaccine, which was earlier, few years back, we used to take, hepatitis B vaccine, HCV vaccines, and all those things, because there was a rampant things, all these things comes and goes, Now this hepatitis B vaccine, nowadays nobody takes, because it is almost, like we develop ourselves certain kind of immunity. So then we don't have to take it again, So this is how the vaccines, there is a definite schedule. It cannot be repeatedly taken one thing or it should not be also repeatedly taken haphazardly. It should be always taken under the total supervision of a particular person. Like I may not be able to, give proper justification to the pediatric patients because I am not a pediatrician. So I may not be able to give them the advice for, say, typhoid vaccine, say polio vaccine, say DPT vaccine, in spite of I might be having the knowledge, but I may not be that perfect because I'm not always in touch with that. So it should be only limited extent only it can be given. Fine? Yeah.
Are there any genome tests which can be conducted to detect allergy?
No, there is nothing so far. The trials are going on, but so far there's nothing at all, except like we have the desensitized antigens we just put over the forearms and all, and prick it and see the result. Or we might put the patch over the back or over the thighs and see this is called a patch test, and that the skin, if the body has got the antibody against that particular antigen which we have applied, it reacts to that. And that is how we come to some conclusion of what is positivity in that particular patient, but no genome tests. Fine? Yeah. Anything else?
Yes, sir. One last question. Are there any external antihistamines available for different allergies in market? Can we self-prescribe them for ourselves without the consent of physician?
Yeah, definitely. There are OTC antihistaminics are available, including in India and US and European countries also. See, there are certain, but one most important thing is one should know that how much it can be consumed, because when you consume something which is the OTC product, you only know that it is OTC, that considering in your mind that it is safer, that since it is OTC, it may not be safer on a longer duration of time. Even including, say, for example, we take antipyretic like paracetamol. If you take it for a longer duration, very long duration, paracetamol-induced hepatitis also is there. So it's not, like one must always consult preferably. Of course, in the beginning of your symptoms, if you have certain little rhinitis, little itching, little urticaria, little hives, you can definitely go to a medical store and tell them whichever antihistaminic, like they can give is OTC without the need of a prescription proper. You can definitely go and take it. There's no problem at all. Yeah. Okay. Should I share my other screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, fine. This is the every disease or everything human,
Sir, we cannot see your screen.
yeah, you cannot see my screen. Okay, now you can see?
No, sir. You can try using new sharing and then share your screen again.
Okay. Okay, just wait. Huh? Stop share, new share. Okay. Okay. Visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Yeah, this is psychological aspects of allergic disorders. Now, whenever, like human being and all of us, anywhere, we have certain things in our cells, like we have certain qualities, certain things, certain, everybody has got some kind of things, like a fear, general characteristics, we have. Actually speaking, we have to be, like so many disorders and so many diseases and so many cancers. Also, like if you see so many cancers have got good treatment and good anti-cancer drugs. But the fear of having that cancer actually kills that person rather than that cancer killing them. So this is one of the most important things. So I have just, like few slides of mine, which I've just, like on my own, I devised this psychological aspects of allergic disorders. I will try to be, it's very few slides. So hopefully everybody is not getting bored. Prachi ji, no boring, na?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, fine. These are the cardinal symptoms. This is anxiety, irritability, and short-temperedness. So whenever we have certain things, like if I'm going to have a particular symptom on and off, like daily, if I'm sneezing, early morning, I'm getting up and I have around 40 to 50 sneezes. And, like what happens is I become so much worried that what the hell this is going on with my life. Why am I sneezing in spite of going to this ENT surgeon, that doctor, that my general physician, giving me so many medication, and still so I become more anxious, and that anxiety causes me to, like become little irritable later on. That converts itself to irritability. And if, all of a sudden my wife is asking me or something, कि अरे यार देखो कचरे का डब्बा वाला आया उसको कचरे का डब्बा दे दो, और आई गेट शॉर्ट टेम्पर्ड, आई लगे इतना तेरे को नहीं आता है क्या, 2 मिनट का काम है तू दे देना, मेरे को क्यों बोल रही. सो आई बिकम्स लाइक there is kind of a, these are the most important cardinal. This is, see, it's like a coin. We have a coin has got two sides. The one side is a physical things, the other side is a psychological aspect of that particular disease. So this is the psychological aspect of the allergic disorders: anxiety, irritability, and short temperedness, चिंतितपना, चिड़चिड़ेपना, और जल्दी से गुस्सा आना. Now, what is healthy mind? This is according to Bhagavad Gita. Your mind is your great friend if you control it. Your mind is your great friend if you control it, but your mind is your greatest enemy if it controls you. This is not mine. This is Bhagavad Gita. Now, how is mind actually? We must always try to remain happy. We must be having very sound sleep. And all our senses should be well in control. Now, this is what is the actual mind idealistically has to be there. But what happens is, because of these three things, out of these three things, we may not remain happy because of some reasons. Happiness is a state of mind. It is a state of mind means if you experience and if your observance all the time from morning till evening, if you go out, whatever. Now, of course, during lockdown, we are all locked down within the house. But overall, if you have some kind of presence of mind and observance, you will see sometimes a very poor person, if you give him some simple vada pav and see the happiness on his face, the cheerfulness, a smile, very smiling face. And you feel, like you are getting happiness in giving. The opposite person is so much happy in just receiving a single vada pav. Wherein this is what is called as happiness is a state of mind. One might have so many things, but may not be that happy. One might have little and maybe so much happy. And then the sleep pattern. When we go to sleep, we always have to idealistically sleep very peacefully. We have to be all the time. Why this is so much important is when we have very sound sleep, we're always energetic. We are always, all the time, since morning till evening, any time you have to be very ready to do anything actually. And all when your senses are controlled, now something is paining me. If my attention goes to that pain, that pain is going to increase. But if I neglect that pain purposely also, that if in case, for example, my left knee is paining, it is paining. But what happens is, what I think is, I have both legs, both hands. I just have to think that I don't have left knee. Just think in that term, thinking very deep. This is a very different thing. But When you think in that sense कि मेरे को left knee ही नहीं है, इतना दर्द कहाँ से हो रहा है, कुछ चिंता नहीं है, तो no chinta. So this is what is and how his mind is. So once you having that, these are the willpowers. Now when you have, so usually all the patients, whoever patient comes to us, or basically whoever is coming to me, or coming to or going to any particular doctor for any particular disease or for any particular symptoms, their willpower goes down usually. Many of the times their willpower has gone down. So there are levels of willpower. There is a high level of willpower, medium level, and low level. All the time when a patient is there, it's usually the low level of willpower they have. Remember that. Now, mind is actually invisible, but always active. Body and mind together, whatever is done is the output. Now, it is invisible, but always active. When I am now speaking to you, what am I doing actually? I am trying to form my sentences. My brain, my mind, I am thinking first within my mind. It is going to the phonation. It's going to this area of speech. That's called the Broca's area within the brain. That is a speech area. Then it is coming out from my mouth. That's converted to speech. And that is what you all are listening. How do you listen? Again, how do you listen? Is all again through the centers within the brain. All the centers are within the brain. Remember that. So brain, mind is invisible, but it is always active. It can never, it is man. It is called man. Your mind, Abhi, now so many people are listening to me, but everybody's mind is somewhere or the other. Many of you may not, before some time I was asked one question, again, what happened was that time I got some, like somebody was calling me and I, just my attention was towards my cell phone. So that distracted me and I had to ask Prachi ji again that kindly repeat the question. So this is what is called as it's so active and so it's going on, like one needs to, like eliminate other things and try to concentrate on one particular thing. Where is mind actually? It is within the brain? Question mark. Is it within the heart? Question mark. But actually, as it is manifested by the heart, it is all over the body. Now, how it is so? See, if I get all of a sudden some kind of a bad news or some kind of a very exciting news or something, what happens is immediately what happens? My heart starts beating faster. So it is manifested by my heart. And if I get the pain, for example, if I have a very severe pain somewhere, what will happen is that pain is, for example, say my right ankle is paining. That means whatever it is paining, right ankle, but it goes to my brain, goes to my mind. But if the pain is so severe, it may reflect to my heart also many times, So the palpitation can occur because of anything. You just thinking of something can go like that. All over the body it is. Actually, it is all over the body because whatever it is within the brain, within the heart, but manifested by the heart. Actually, it is all over the body. That is what is a mind. These are the characteristics of mind. Now, this is again, as all of you must have read the Indian mythology, Sattva, Raja, and Tama. Now, that Sattva means a pure mind. Raja means greedy mind, and Tama means aggressive mind. Like what we always, like if I see a beautiful, like woman coming from the beach in the bikini, and what will happen is if my mind can think in many ways, it may be greedy, it may be aggressive, or very rarely. Why do I say very rarely? Because the pure mind requires a very different kind of a approach. You need to be very much good in your psychology. You need to be very spiritually highly motivated person. You must have been doing so much yoga. You must have been doing so much meditation, so many things. Then you can have or you can achieve pure mind. Don't misunderstand. I'm not trying to tell anybody a particular thing, but it may occur to anyone, Now, basically, these are the three characteristics of the mind. I won't go into the detail of those minds. I can go, but it is a very different thing. Now, there are again three ego states of mind. This is a parent, adult, and child. You know. Now, what are the different egos? Like a small child, if I'm crossing my, say, for example, when I was crossing my son right now is 26 years old, but when he was 5 years old, and I was just holding his hand very tightly because I was just crossing the road. That was my parent mind, that what I'm going to do is like he will just escape. He said, "Nani, no, no, daddy, I can cross. I can see both sides. No vehicle is coming. I can just cross it." So there are different ego state of mind. What I have, what an adult state of mind, and what a child, like that's an ego state of mind. Also, we have there's a four phases. This is very important. Actually, four phases of transaction. I'm okay. You are not okay. I'm not okay. You are okay. I'm not okay. You are not okay. And last, the most important is I'm okay. You are okay. Now, what happens is, we try to in our life we try to change certain people sometimes. Now, for example, it is not possible for even see every human being in this world is a different. My all five fingers are different sizes. So when you see that every person is a different person, every patient coming to me is a different patient. So to judge that patient, I have to be that caliber. A patient coming to me with a little headache might tell me that, "Sir, I have a very severe throbbing headache. Do something, give me some injectable, otherwise I'll die." Other patient having tremendous headache and just coming to me and telling me, "Sir, I'm having little headache." Now the judgment is of the clinician, how that clinician judges the opposite patient. This is a very essential and important. Now, what do you mean by this four phases of transaction is we might sometimes, we want to change certain people, in life. And we cannot change anybody. In our own house also, my nature is different. My son's nature is different. My wife's nature, my parents. Today, for example, if I tell my son to do like this and do as I tell him to do, he may not agree to that. Or if he tells me to do something, if my parents tells me to do something, did I do like that? No. So you cannot change the person. So you can change whom? You can change your own self. It's not possible to change anyone else. So you need to change your own self. This is very essential and important. Another thing is very important in our life, clinician's life or any practitioner's life, is listening. A patient coming to me, I have to listen to the patient very peacefully. That's a very important thing. Now, there's a power of mind, intelligence, good or bad. This is again a power of mind as a two things, intelligence, good and bad. So again, there are powerful. One is an intelligent mind, one is a good mind, one is a bad mind. Now this again, if you want, I can go into detail, but I don't know how much time remains. We'll go into the question as later on. What mind does? This is very important again. Essential: concentration, thinking, concerns, oath, commitment, expression of sentiments, controls all senses, decide about what is good and bad. Now, concentration. We need to be, see, when I am with one patient, for example, I have to be only with him. I should not have any thinking. For example, what happens is one of my staff, she is my very old, senior receptionist with me. Very good. But when she came one day, she was not she was not speaking well. Otherwise, she's very polite and all. But she was not very much concentrated. So then I called her inside and she said, "Nahi sir, मला आता काहीतरी घर सोडून जायचं हे ते मला माझ्या नवऱ्याबरोबर राहायचं नाही." So there was some kind of a fight. So I just explained to her, whatever, when you're entering this premises, you must try to eliminate your other things outside. Keep it outside. Your family, this, that, so on and so forth, So that concentration becomes, you have to be very peaceful first. You have come to job, you have to be doing only that. Now coming here, I just, to be frank, I mean, like I was telling Richard today afternoon around 3 o'clock that I did not even, did not even get a single moment to try and open and, prepare something for this particular webinar. But God is great, probably all of you might like, may not like, doesn't matter. Criticism is always better than the praises, I feel. That can improve me. Now, that is a concentration. And then we have to think in that terminology, that lines. And then we have to be concerned with that particular person, When you're concerned, when, for example, for concern for everybody, in the family also, if you're concerned, concern is a different thing, Your concern means you are taking care, you're totally concerned of that particular person. Maybe your wife, maybe your spouse, maybe your husband, maybe your child, maybe your parents, you have to be concerned. Then oath, you have to be committed to something. You need to be committed to do something for your anybody. So I need to be committed. My commitment has to be there that my patient should get better. That's important. Expression of sentiments. You must always express the sentiments, Whenever we, like we all people, like husband and wife, there are so many people here married also. Now, all of you, whenever you have, if somebody, your wife has cooked very good food, if you just have to, say that this is an excellent, you have made a good dal today, a good bhaji today, it's very tasty or delicious, it's good to, express yourself, and that's always appreciated. That gratitude is important. Gratitude has to be there every places. And of course, control all your senses, decide about what is good and bad. This is important. Okay. Hello. Yeah, things required to keep mind healthy. This is psychological. It is positive thinking. For example, we must think positive always, that all everybody knows, but we must do something for that, like whatever way you can do, not necessarily monetarily, maybe social work, respect your elders, and you're clever. Like I always respect my gurus, I always remember them, I always, from my childhood, my school teachers onwards till my college teachers and my teacher of myology and everybody. And particularly, I'm also indebted to my patients, and because of my patients who have cooperated me. See, without the cooperation of the patient, I cannot grow. If I write something to the patient takes it. That is what is important. So I am not important. Who is important is the patient is important. Then we need to help and poor and needy people. Try never to cheat anybody. Do not stay with cheaters, and do not criticize as far as possible. Now, character. Trust, politeness, skillful, patience. Do not disclose decision power. This is a very important thing. Now, whenever, I have just give a small example of husband and wife coming to my old Panvel. I have a hospital in old Panvel, and they're coming from new Panvel. Both of them are my patients, but the husband comes separately, wives come separately. But, actually speaking, once the husband was asking me, why do my wife is coming to you? So I just told him that she is my patient. So he asked me, what is she having? So I said, she is your wife. You can ask her. I cannot disclose it. This is called as professional secrecy. We need to keep professional secrecy. Spiritual. Faith in God, self-confidence. For example, avoid alcohol, tobacco, laziness, unnecessary talks, non-vegetarian foods, etc., etc. And lastly, we must study and tackle not only the body of the patients, but mind too, helping you to adapt in a brand new way of life, allergy-free. Thank you very much. Have a peaceful mind. Thank you very much. I apologize for having a little bit crossed my talk. Yeah. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, sir. Allergy elicites immune response like infection, but it is treated like autoimmune diseases. Is it true? And can you elaborate on this?
Yeah. Autoimmunity is something very different. Okay. And allergy is something very different. And infection is because of, infections are caused by bacteria, viruses, all viral infection we call. And that is why we call allergic disorder and we do not call allergic disease. Now, all diseases are caused by the bacteria, viruses, etc. And allergic disorders because it is basically antigen antibody reaction, something which is in order, which has gone dis. That's why we call this as it as this. Autoimmune diseases is like very totally different. It's like rheumatoid arthritis, systemic lupus erythematosus, all those things, are included in autoimmune diseases. So those are diseases. Those are totally different than this. Okay. Yeah.
I want to know about the dust allergies. Is it passed from one generation to other?
Usually these allergies are not passed from, it's not necessarily passed from one to other. See, there are two things. One is familial and one is hereditary. What is hereditary means? Hereditary means somebody will definitely get. See, for example, my parents has got, say, diabetes. Then out of our 5 brother and sister, 3 or 4 or 2 might definitely, out of 5, definitely somebody will definitely get. That's called as hereditary. And to run in families is like somebody, my parents has or I have, then it may run into my family. Allergies usually doesn't come directly into the first generation. It comes into third generation. Like for example, whenever I ask the patient's history of patient coming to me in bronchial asthma, I just ask one question: whether your father's father mother or mother's father mother, like your grandparents, did they have asthmatic like symptoms? So they come with the positive reply, optimistic reply that yes, they had. So this is called as, this comes into third generation. And what way, it is not known at all.
Sir, it is easy to understand when we are allergic to things, articles, etc. But how do you diagnose a food allergen? Because a person may consume food stuff which is complex preparation of many ingredients.
Absolutely. Good question. Yeah. So that means, in other words, we do not eat only one thing at a time. Okay. So very good. I had around 6 months back, one of the patient came to me and told me that I got the allergy to moong dal. So the first thing I asked him, ki, how do you say it is because of the moong dal? So it was, like, what did you consume? So he said moong dal. This. So then it was including, like, say, moong dal ka bhaji with chapati, with the other things and all those things, like n number of things. Now, we need to, that's the where we need to actually do the allergy testing for all the foods is available. So we need to do separately allergy testing. And many times what happens is, if I have consumed moong dal right now, consider, chalo, I have moong dal allergy, for example. If I have consumed it right now, I am getting the symptom right now, I might be coming positive to that. But sometimes what happens is, there is a late reaction of the allergy. If I have consumed something 3 days back, and right now I'm, after 3 days I'm manifesting it, means after 3 days I'm getting the symptom of that particular food allergy. So that's called as a late food allergy. So the best way or the best option is to properly scientifically detect by way of allergy testing, modified prick test method. If you would like to see 1 minute video of how the allergy testing is done, it's a video, actually only 1 minute video. If you allow me to, I can just show you. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. I'll need to again share back. Where is that screen? Just a minute. Okay. Can you see that? Wait. Can anybody see?
No, sir.
Everybody can see, please.
No, sir.
Is it visible?
No, nothing is visible. We can just see your folder, sir.
Hello? Is it visible?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Wait. I need to share again. New share I'll do. As you Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
This is the way we have to just first mark the things. This is the marking, and we know the what antigen to be put where. This is the small drops of an antigenic extract, which are in the form of 0.01 to 0.1% in dilution. So this is just an example of the carrot or something, whatever. And then different antigens are put, and then it is pricked with the lancet. Now these lancets are imported ones and not the Indian ones. And then at the end, we see the result in the form of a wheal and erythema. This is not so visible here, but certain if you can see, it is, you know, like redness and all. There's no pointer here. I did not have that. Okay, we can stop that. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yes,
Can
please.
we cure allergy from Ayurvedic and homeopathic intervention doses?
Just a minute. I did my volume little low. Yeah, tell me.
Can we cure allergy from Ayurvedic and homeopathic intervention doses?
See, good question again. See, basically, every pathy, homeopathy, Ayurvedic, and allopathy. Any pathy, if you see, if you go to the depth of the science, you know, even if I have the heart attack and if I am given some medication, some particular injection, or say digitalis, so it is made from the plant. So why do we call one allopathy? There are 4 pathis which are recognized in India. One is allopathy, second is homeopathy, third is Ayurvedic, and fourth is Unani. Now all these pathis are one and the same, but the method of formation is differing. Means, in other words, like everything is made from the plant. Extract, even there is a plant for say digitalis, as I told you, that is digoxin. That's a medicine for the heart attacks. Now, hello, is it
Yes.
audible?
Yes, sir.
Change here. Okay. So now, in fact, so whatever it is the same thing. See, it is basically the patient who believes in what. See, if somebody is believing in, I am not trying to criticize or like praise anything at all. Now, the concept of allergen vaccination or the allergen immunotherapy, what I am giving to get rid of the patient's allergies is basically the concept is of the homeopathy, simile similia. what is the allergen vaccination made up of? It is a desensitized allergens or hyposensitized allergens. What we are basically using it and instilling into the patient's body from low dose to high dose and from low concentration to high concentration. So the concept what I am using is actually homeopathy. Okay. So actually speaking, everybody is same, good actually, but whoever believes in one thing, so should go for that thing. You know, and I actually speaking, what happens is like if I have a wart, say I have a wart on the foot of my in my left foot, for example. So that wart treatment is good in homeopathy. It is like that. So nothing is bad, nothing is good, but what is good for what is to be known actually, ideally speaking. And for allergy, allergen vaccination is the best option because so many people, you know, like coming to us are, you know, like all these things, they roam around for so many different places and then they, at the end, they come to me, you know, it's like that. Okay.
So one last question.
Yeah,
Is
please.
there any role of allergy in lip psoriasis?
Mm, not actually, but uh, psoriatic patient, I in my these many years of practice, one psoriatic patient I have certain psoriasis, but I don't treat psoriasis. I just refer them to the skin specialists. And he had happened to come, so he said, "Nah, I think I have allergies." So I said, "Okay, might as well do his testing." So when we did the testing, and he came out to be certain things came out to be positive. So when we treated that, his psoriasis part also went much lower. You know, like he could get good relief from his psoriasis also. But actually, no, I would say no. That is by fluke, probably. Yeah. Yes, Prachi ji.
Sir, how can we manage allergy?
Manage allergy. Manage is properly first detect. See, the best option of allergy is avoidance. Now, whenever you cannot avoid, see what can you avoid? Practically, you can only avoid foods, nothing else. When you can, foods can only be avoided, that is possibility. Other things like, say, for example, I am sitting in one particular environment, I'm having certain pollen, certain dust, certain mites. So can I say like that, ki I don't want to go into this pollen environment, I want to be away from this dust? Not possible. So practically only food can be avoided. So the managing allergies is to increase the immunity against the allergens to which you're allergic to by way of giving them the individually prepared allergen vaccination in a long term, so that for future life, see, when you are treated with this for 3 to 5 years, your whole lifespan go without allergic. Okay, so no allergy manifestations would be there, and your immunity overall also will increase. It is like that. So the managing allergies, there is nothing specific except you have to find out and treat that particular allergen.
Thank you, sir. On
Yeah.
behalf of
Thank you
KC
very much.
College and the Department of Biotechnology, I would like to propose this vote of thanks to Dr. Ravikant Zala. Thank you, sir, for this wonderful session and providing us with this wonderful insight about allergy and its awareness.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
And I hope we have learned a lot from it. Also, I would like to thank our dynamic principal, Dr. Hemlata Bagla, and our star status coordinator, Dr. Sagrika Damle, for the constant support and encouragement. Also, a big thank you to all the participants for being such a wonderful audience. Before we go, I would like to make one important announcement. The feedback form will be shared on the Telegram group as well as in the chat box. The link for the same will be open for 1 hour. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, and learn more.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Richa, particularly. Thank you, Principal Madam, and all the other people. Thank you very much.
Chinmay?
Yeah.
Can you share the Word document, please?
Okay. I'm not able to.
Prachi, it's okay. You can send it in the Telegram group or either put it on the mail if it's not working.
It's working, just one minute.
Okay. I think Chinmay has sent something.
Yes, ma'am. There are two things. One is the Word document and one is the link. You can open either of them and fill your feedback form. Pratibha ma'am, you can see the Word doc.
Yeah, Prachi, I can see the chat box.
The
And I can
Word
see
doc.
that. Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
The link may not directly open in the chat box. You'll have to copy and paste it in the site.
Dear participants, I hope you have downloaded your feedback form. Now I shall end this meeting. Thank you.